Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.
Hello and welcome to No Office, a podcast about work, technology, and life from a remote company perspective. My name is Rafal and as always, I'm joined by CEO of our No Office company Nozbe, Michael Sliwinski. Hello, Michael. How are you today?
Hello. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I think we can hear you well. We had some technical difficulties before starting recording
Yes,
today.
that's why we're starting late. But we will talk about these technical difficulties later in the show, because for today we have some quite a few like small topics but important topics, and we will talk about meetings. We will talk about the home office quality and backups and all that stuff, and when some things don't work as they should. So we will be talking about all that very soon today on the podcast. I'm good, but I'm getting ready for the 15th wedding anniversary. I'm just kidding. 15th anniversary of Nozbe. So
for the quinceañera.
Yeah, exactly. So this is my eldest child. My daughter Milena, she just turned 13, but my son Nozbe is turning 15 now.
Yes, la aplicación.
Exactly. So it's turning 15 now, and we are getting ready for this celebration. That we will talk about a promo that we're launching very soon. So it's all happening, and we have big announcements as well. And these big announcements require lots of work. So this week I've been just swamped with work, like really, really busy. And one of these days I just went to bed like at 11 o'clock, completely like I just destroyed. And then I woke up at 7 a.m. next day. I was like fresh as a daisy. So it's the moment where you see that like you just cannot hold any longer, it means that like, you need rest.
Yeah, that is true. I feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and just yesterday I managed to finish up a blog post about Nozbe updates in 2022. And I was already late with the blog post because all the things we planned,
Okay.
and of course, like we didn't predict all the circumstances, and yeah, it took more time than that we predicted. So about this blog post, I just sum it up that in 2021 we shipped 46 updates of Nozbe Teams, which is really great. And I just discovered our portfolio of options. But for listeners of this podcast, we talked about it in details in episode 32, Appetite for a Feature. And I updated the changelog. So now our changelog not only tells you what new features, new fixes is in each new version, each new update, but also what we are internally testing. So the features that are in the implementation, but already in some shape that we are testing it internally on our dogfooding environment. And these are like desktop apps for macOS and Windows. We cannot wait to ship it to you, to our users. And we needed to make sure that adding this native builds for Windows and Mac wouldn't add much complexity to our infrastructure, to our builds pipeline, so we can still be flexible and fast with shipping updates. And we are very close to do that. That's coming very soon. Shell extension on iOS finally. I just tested the last fix before the recording, and now if we don't find any other bugs, we will ship it next week. So that's fine. Yeah, and we are working on big project menu reorganization, and you will be able to share Project Coral very soon.
Yeah, so these are let's talk about the iOS first, because of course I am iPad only, and for me the iPad part of things is very important. And I've the thing is that we kind of shot ourselves in the foot, because we almost had the share extension ready, but then we shipped the multi-teams. So when we shared the multi-teams, we just added complexity to the share extension, because suddenly I am a part of 4 teams now in Nozbe teams. And when you have a share extension and you want to add something to Nozbe, suddenly you have to choose to which team you want to add this stuff. And before that, when we were testing the share extension, it was single task, single task, single task, single task. And I'm yeah, but which single tasks? So
yes.
So it was really complicated. Now it's really easy, because you can choose to which team you're adding stuff. So it's very easy, and the default team can be there as well. And also I use the widget for iOS. I have this big widget of priority tasks on my home screen of the iPad. And the cool thing is that over there, I actually prefer to see all priority tasks from all my teams. Normally in Nozbe, I prefer to have them separate, but to just remember about everything that I have to do today, I prefer to have on the widget to have everything. So I can choose. I can choose if I want specific, team priority or everything, right? Like Chuck Norris. So I prefer the Chuck Norris style on the widget. And so that's fantastic. And of course, yes, the Mac app is something we've been, we thought we could get away with the web app, and we did for quite a while. But now we have to. We need the Mac and the Windows apps, and they are really good. So and I think they're at the last stage of development. So very soon they should be there. And I think from our side, you always blamed me for promising people features and stuff, and you were right. but now when we know that we are working on something and it's already in the works, we can promise that, because we can there's always still a slight chance that we might just think that this thing that we are building is not ready for shipping, and we will just step back, for example, reevaluate. But usually when we have something at advanced stage of dogfooding, so of testing internally in the team, we are pretty confident that we're going to ship it. So it's just a question of ironing out the kinks. So I think it's a good idea to already share it with people, and especially people who are really good fans of Nozbe, which we really appreciate.
What we learned from this year, the trick is that it's okay to share what we are working on. The bad thing is to promise dates. Release dates.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why, for example, I was brave. Just if you rewind this episode, I was brave. I didn't say we are shipping the Mac version in a week or in February or whatever. I didn't say anything like that. I said we are shipping it soon. We're at the last stages of testing it, and this might be next week. This might be in 4 weeks. This might be in 6 weeks. It depends on if we see serious bugs or something. So because things pop up in software development, which is unfortunate, but it's just it's the thing. And we don't want to ship a very buggy app just because everybody wants it. But then Nozbe is supposed to be a trusted system, and this adds additional kind of responsibility for us, that we are shipping a trusted system. So we want to make sure that this trusted system works for you, that this is something that you can depend on, and not something which is half-assed. So that's why it's added responsibility that we take seriously.
Yep, that's true. And as you said, we will be celebrating Quinceañera, 15th birthday of Nozbe, and the celebration will start on Tuesday, first day of February. And a week later, we will stream product vlog live, when we will show together, I and you, we will show together this hopefully these new features. We will tease this Mac app, shell extension on iOS in action, and some other stuff, and answer all your questions. So make sure to check out nozbe.com/blog. The English product blog is already scheduled there on YouTube, so you can set a reminder there. So yeah, and there will be some big announcement for Nozbe personal users.
Yes, exactly. So we will have it. We will celebrate with a bang. There will be a special promo. There will be big announcements. The big announcements, we are excited about them, but we believe that some users will be kind of uncomfortable with the changes and stuff, which is okay. And I think there will be lots of questions. And that's why we are doing the product vlog, to answer these questions, to just make sure that we are flat out transparent. We tell you exactly how things are, and then we can answer your questions sincerely. So that's why we do the product vlog right after the announcements, so you can digest the announcements and then ask us questions. Like, we will be really happy to answer all of the questions that are coming up, and like explain in more detail and nuance like our path forward for the next 15 years or more. So like we are preparing Nozbe for another 15 years or more. Like, we want to be there for the long haul. Like, we have been fortunate to have been a trusted system for so many users, like tens of thousands of users all over the world for all these years. We have people using Nozbe for the last 10 or more years, like really, really long time. So we're happy about it, and we want to make sure that we have the foundation for the years to come.
Yeah, can't wait to celebrate, because that's a big milestone for our small company. And
yes,
we maintain to being still a small company for those 15 years and still profitable. So that's great.
Yeah, that's the idea. I still have a special filter for all the VC inquiries when they try to invest in Nozbe, and I send them to one of my blog posts that I don't take no investments. So like it's still almost an automated response.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to next topics. Some follow-up. I see you have some follow-up on meetings.
Yes. So again, as we discussed, I talk to customers. And if you would like to talk to me and you're a Nozbe customer, contact Nozbe support and tell them, I want to talk to Michael, and they will schedule a call with me. So really, it's very complicated. It's a very long process to get a call with me. Contact info@nozbe.com and tell people, I want to talk to Michael. Like, this is the whole thing that you have to do. Like, you don't have to send any stamps. You don't have to prepare your CV or anything else. Just tell them, I am a Nozbe user. I want to talk to Michael, and you will talk to me. So I'm looking forward to talking to you, actually. So I talk to customers on Tuesdays and Wednesdays right now. And anyway, I'm also talking to some friends and everything, and especially now with this transition to no office work, to people working remotely or hybrid, people have questions like how to do it right, how to get this done, how do we do it? And one of the things was about meetings. And I had a pushback from some people saying that, these all remote meetings don't work very well. It's like better to have people like in a conference room, in the same place, and all that stuff. And even with hybrid, like we had the whole discussion. And the funny thing was that here there's the nooffice.org/meetings is my chapter on meetings of my No Office book, where I share that meetings have to be regular, optional, and well prepared. Right, like these two things. And what I see is the well prepared part is not being adhered to. Meetings are not well prepared because people have too many meetings. They are not prepared for the meetings. They are still following the old rule of presenting a new idea on a meeting. And this is something that we've been avoiding like a plague. Okay, we have some weekly meetings where we just hang out for a few minutes. We have coffee, like Rafal, on Mondays. And we have also But still, we have agenda for that prepared before. But still, sometimes we just talk about random ideas as well. But it's a short meeting. But if we have a longer meeting, like the design meeting, or something like that, we have everything prepared well in advance. And in my chapter, I mentioned Jeff Bezos and his idea that when the meeting starts, everybody reads quietly the documentation before they start a meeting. So that everybody reads quietly. Once they have read the documentation, then the meeting starts, so that everybody is prepared. And this is a hack.
It seems like a school.
Exactly.
When we were the
but
kids.
It's a hack,
Yeah.
Because Jeff Bezos knows that his executives are so busy that they haven't read the documentation. So at least then he can scold them and tell them to read the documentation before. And it's a good hack. And I think with this hack, you should start. That's a good hack. But it shouldn't be a habit, because what I see the value for ourselves is that the documentation is prepared well in advance of the meeting. Well in advance meaning the next day. So like, for example, like as we mentioned, we have our design meeting every other Tuesday when we decide it's gonna go down. And then we have all the documentation ready by the end of Monday. So that on Tuesday, until Tuesday afternoon, everybody has the time to read it. And not only read it, they have time to comment on it. And this is, for me, I think, the key thing, that we comment on it before the meeting. So we do the asynchronous communication. We comment on the parts of the documentation. We comment on the whole concept that has been presented. We comment on all this way before the meeting. This way, when we have the meeting, we really don't talk about the big concepts anymore. We talk about nuance, or we fight about the whole thing. But everybody has had like the time to digest the idea that's going to happen on the meeting. So for me, really, I think, and I don't know if you agree, Rafal, but I think the key is that the well-prepared part must be like really policed. Like people have to be well prepared. It's like the situation where I didn't read one of the pieces of documentation before the design meeting. And one of the design fighters told me, so Michael, we're not talking about this because you haven't read it. And I was ashamed of myself that I wasn't prepared, but he was right. Why should we discuss something when I'm not prepared? Like everybody has to be prepared. And I think this added value of comments before, like offline comments before the meeting is just underappreciated.
Yeah, it's just the well prepared is not only to read, to acknowledge what is the topic of the meeting, but also to comment, because many times, as we learned, we can figure out all the things asynchronously in those comments.
Yeah.
So meeting is no longer needed, and that's why we are now doing design fight meeting once a month, not once a week.
Yes, we agree.
Yeah, we try to do the things asynchronously first, and only if we couldn't find a proper solution asynchronously, then we transfer this topic to the meeting.
Yeah, so that's the thing that in my chapter, I'm going to update my chapter for that because this is what we did. Like we decided that if we don't need the meeting, let's just not do it. Let's just not waste our time. But we decided we have to have a meeting at least once a month, just to make sure that we as a team, as a design team, are together, that we can still talk normally, are still not we are not like we still are glued as a team. So we will have a meeting once we need it, or once a month, whichever comes first, and that's the key. And really, like we figured out that most of the things we can agree on asynchronously in the comments, but yes, there are situations where we're not sure, and we see that there is a pushback from both sides, and we haven't had the place to discuss it, so we need to discuss it, and that's it.
Yeah, but I think this is the good tip to reduce. If you want to reduce the amount of meetings or the duration of meetings, first thing you need to do is to, for example, if your team is not convinced to that idea, maybe you have some topics that you want to discuss on the meeting. So publish them before in some system when when your team can comment on them asynchronously, publish those topics so they can read it. And once your team get a habit of it to read it before and comment asynchronously, then your meetings first will be shorter, and then maybe it will open the brain for the rest of your teams to really embrace the asynchronous communication more and have less meetings and shorter meetings. So that will be the first step. Like be the example of async communication.
Yeah, exactly. Like be the change you want to make, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing that you should start with that, and you can publish everything. Like the good thing is to publish in a way that other people can comment before the meeting. So don't send a PDF to people, because if you send PDF to people, like nobody will comment on it. But if you can just have a project in Nozbe Teams and then have a task for that, and then we always recommend that you have a task for each agenda point, and in this task you can explain what you want to talk about, or you can just have a long comment of exactly what you want to do, and then invite other comments inside. So this way you have at least comments in Nozbe Teams directly next to the agenda point. So the agenda points are being commented on right there. But if you need more subtlety, then you can, for example, attach a link to a Dropbox Paper document, Microsoft Word document, or whatever you're using, like, or Google Docs document, where other people can comment on, like, in detail on the whole, on the whole thing. So, but the basic stuff, like just having each task being, an agenda point and letting people comment on it, it's just brilliant already.
Yeah, and during the meeting, you can write down the notes, the conclusions from the meeting in each agenda point. Not one big conclusion from the whole meeting, like it's called meeting notes in the corporate world. But if you have separate tasks for each agenda point, there's like the discussion is contextual, yeah. So it's not mixed up with all other topics. All right, so I think it's high time to move on to the next topic on our list, to the next point in our agenda of this recording.
Before we do that, I think it's a natural segue to our sponsor, Nozbe Teams, and then we can talk about the more agenda points.
Yeah, that's true. This podcast is sponsored by Nozbe, the fastest way to done. It's a task-based async communication app for personal, family, and business use. Let's hear what Nozbe customers say about the product.
We tried different project management tools for the first couple of years when I was with the organization I currently am, CCMA. And then we realized that we just need really one place where we can communicate, where we can share projects, where we can think in written form, where we can give each other feedback. So we tested a couple different things, and eventually we settled with Nozbe Teams. And it's been really fun to see the software mature and just get better and better. The data security, I know the company is totally committed to improving the product. For us, it's simple. We have some members of our team who are very tech savvy and some who aren't as tech savvy. So to find one tool that actually is usable for all those is not easy. We did dabble in a couple of competitors, and they were just too much, too complicated, too many features. What our team needed was something simple, reliable, trustworthy, something that was fun and attractive and enjoyable to use. And so Nozbe Teams has really fit for us. It's met that sweet spot. It's reasonable. We're a nonprofit, and so the price is right. It's easy to add members. I just added somebody yesterday. It was no big deal. I think I went to the 5-person plan to 6. It was not a big deal, so that's nice because it's flexible for us. It just gives us a place to park everything, and it works for us. So we don't want to be emailing within our team. We're not perfect at that, but we want to cut down on that. We want to cut down on interruptions during the day. And so I'll try anything that will help accomplish those two things. So for us, Nozbe Teams really fits that need that we have as a small team.
And we're back. So another point on our agenda is follow up to my home office setup. I have some thoughts after using this setup we talked about 2 weeks ago for now 2 weeks. So first of all, I miss 27-inch display. Using this MacBook Pro as my main display and the full HD 24-inch display as a secondary. Yeah, it's fine, but
not ideal.
Yeah, but not ideal. So I will be buying. I think I have figured out which monitor to buy now. So I hope more updates on that in future episodes. And one problem I didn't predict it about choosing the color of MacBook Pro, because I've chosen silver one and I love how it looks, but when I have it directly in front of me, close to me on this tray, and it sits there with like at 30 degree angle.
Yeah.
And I have the lights above the desk. And when I turn on the lights, it reflects the silver area, reflects the lights into my face. And I don't like it. It's not, it blinds me, but still I had to adjust this angle a little bit.
You just have to listen to MKBHD, matte black, all the things, and just buy a matte black paint and just paint your new MacBook Pro. Just paint it in matte black, and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, that's the idea. Anyway, speaking of black, I'm not back to using Microsoft ergonomic keyboard instead of Magic Keyboard, because I sold my iMac already. So now it's the only keyboard I have here in my home office. I like it, but I think it's fine again. It's fine, but it requires another dongle, USB dongle, to be connected to my MacBook. So it's not cool, but it's good enough, and it enforces on me to write properly with each letter on the keyboard with proper finger. Because
it's true, because
split,
the ergonomic keyboard that forces you to touch type correctly. So there's no way to cheat. But these are two of my favorite words in the English language: interesting and fine. Like if you don't want to say that it's just bad, you're like, yeah, that's interesting.
That's interesting.
Right? And then if you don't want to say that something is bad for you to use something, like, it's fine. So like two words that are just trying to be positive because you just don't want to trash it completely. So it's like you want to be politically correct. So like, it's fine. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting point, Michael. All right, I see you have also have some follow-up to home office setup.
Yeah, so I was just writing for, I'm writing a monthly column for iMagazine, our leading Polish lifestyle magazine. And I have a productivity column there. I write every month. I've been writing there for like 10 years or more over there. And the thing is that I was writing this month. I mean, it's going to appear on the 1st of February. I was writing about the ergonomics and automation of things. And what I appreciate about my home office is the fact that everything is set up correctly. So, for example, when we record the podcast, everything is set up. I have my camera set up. I have my teleprompter set up. I have my lights set up. Everything is set up. So this is like fantastic. So I don't have to every time we record, I have to fiddle with things. And I mean, by talking to other people, I know how many people are doing just that. Like every time they have to do something that they are doing regularly, they have to just mount this, move that. Like they have just to do lots of things before they do the thing, you know. And it's it's bad for productivity. Like you mustn't do that. You should optimize your setup that it's really effortless. Like if you need to record, bam, bam, you're ready. Like this is how it should be done. Like you don't have to do anything else. And the more you can automate this, the easier it will be for you to do it, you know? And so that's like my main takeaway. Just think about your setup, think about how you have things laid out, and what can you do today to just improve the layout so that next time you have to do your thing, it's all ready. It's all like really ready for you. And so that's the gist of it. That's the most important thing I wanted to share today. However, sometimes technology fails on you.
No
And
way.
So yeah, no way. Technology would never fail on us, right? Everything works all the time. So one of the things, I have here the teleprompter and I have the lights. Everything is ready. And yesterday, I was getting ready to record 2 videos for our Nozbe's 15th anniversary. Because of course, as the CEO, I have a few announcements and I decided to record these announcements in video. So what I did was I set up everything and I had everything ready and I had the lights ready. Everything was ready. And then the lights failed on me. Like the super Elgato lights just disconnected randomly from the Wi-Fi. And for example, there is the thing that I cannot turn them on by myself. There is no
What?
way I can just turn
There's
them on.
no
Like,
physical switch?
No physical switch. No, like there is. You have to unpair them, pair them again, and maybe they will work. Like Elgato, the brilliant company Elgato, didn't think about it. They didn't think about the fact that you should have lights, you know, so that you should have lights that are just there, and that should have a physical button in case the Wi-Fi doesn't work, in case things don't work. And I cannot tell you how much it has thrown me off. Like I was ready to record, I had everything ready, teleprompter, all the text, everything, and then suddenly the lights didn't work. And I was like, I wasted like I think an hour of setting it up. It was just, you know, because I was trying the connecting, you know, the Wi-Fi. Oh man. So like in this moment, I appreciate when things just work, because in that moment it just didn't work. Like it was completely off, and it threw me off for an hour. And I recorded it very late, and and of course I was, you know, pissed off. I was really not happy about it. So these are the moments where you should think about the backup. So in that case, I'm thinking about the backup right now. If I can have another light, just in case this Elgato beautiful thing that presumably always works it fails on me, then what should I do then to make sure that I have still the lights and I can still record, like plan B? And this is the same what happened today with our podcast. So my internet failed. I don't know what's happened, but I couldn't reset the router before our meeting. So what we did, we decided to use the iPad, as you can see right now, on 5G. And I'm using right now 5G on my iPad, so you can see me very well.
Oh, you're using 5G. I think.
Yes, I'm using 5G on the iPad. That's why the connection is so good. And then I'm recording locally on this microphone on the Mac, because this doesn't require Ethernet connection. But the thing I wasn't prepared for was the fact that I didn't know how to put the tablet, because I wasn't prepared for that situation. So for me, the piece of advice is this. First of all, set up everything perfectly so that it just works perfectly for you and you can really just turn on the things and just do your job. And then have plan B. If things fail, like if this fails, what you do? If this fails, what you do? And then when these things fail, then you still have a plan B, that it still can work. Like today, we could still record. Like it was like inconvenient, but it's, you know, the quality of the video.
Barely inconvenience.
Yeah, but exactly. Super easy, barely inconvenience. So that's the thing. So it did work, and we could still record a podcast. So, you know, that's my piece of advice. Have everything set up and have a plan B.
Yeah, that's the great advice. And great example how iPad is really a great device for being, you can call it plan B for many other devices. Because I remember many times when just there was a blackout or internet failure. I always switched to working on iPad on 5G or 4G actually back then. Yeah, and it was just like 1 minute to set it up or even less, and I was able to continue my work. So that's cool. All right. Speaking of iPad, I wanted to finally do a iPad mini review.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, because like and I recently there is finally the 4-day work week is getting to the mainstream.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's cool because we have Mighty Fridays for years now. And what I noticed in the recent months, because I have this iPad for like more than 2 months now. I use it like mainly in the afternoons and on Mighty Friday as my main. It's my Mighty Friday machine. Yeah, so now as I sold my iPad Pro with my Magic Keyboard, so my iPad Mini is my only mobile computer, and I love it. It just sparks so much joy when I grab it, and I can tell you I use it like 2 or 3 times more than I used iPad Pro. Yeah, the main thing is that it's form factor. It's so comfortable for use to hold and use. I can take it everywhere. I can put it into my Nozbe hoodie. I can put it into my jacket, into the pocket of my sweatpants, even to walk in the house and just don't with the iPad, and that's so comfortable. Writing on software keyboard is so much better than on the bigger iPad because in portrait mode you can really thumb type,
Okay.
which is very convenient and quite fast. And you can even type with Apple Pencil on those small software keyboard with swiping, and that's also very convenient. Yeah, one thing that annoys me, and I think it's a bug, I hope iPadOS 15.3 will fix that. I have to check that because I think yesterday they released finally a production version of 15.3. Is when you are in portrait mode and you launch a quick note window. And you have this small floating keyboard turned on. The quick note window is on the upper half of the screen, and the small keyboard also. So it covers the part of the quick note window, and you cannot move the keyboard to the bottom half of the screen in the portrait mode. I don't know. Yeah, I managed to do it, but I had to switch to the landscape mode, switch to the big keyboard, then switch back to the small keyboard, and switch back to portrait mode, and then I was able to move it. There is some bug there, so there is inconvenience there when I want to quickly jot down something, but of course there is Apple Pencil, so I can quickly jot down things with handwritten note with Apple Pencil, and I have applied Paperlike for the iPad Mini, and yeah, now it's a perfect notebook. I use pencil and handwritten notes more than I used to do that on iPad Pro, because now I can do it very comfortable when I'm sitting in my comfy armchair and holding iPad with one hand and writing with the second hand. Yeah, and pro tip for applying Paperlike screen protector. I did it in the bathroom after the shower, so the humidity level of the air was really high, so it reduced the risk of having a dust get under the screen protector. Yeah,
Okay.
and it was the first time I did applying this kind of screen protector without any air bubbles. Yeah, so I was very
Nice.
happy. I thought I did a good job, and then I noticed a small piece of dust very close to the center. But I didn't
Oh
panic.
man.
I didn't panic. I just embrace it and okay, let's use it for a couple of days and see if it really bothers me. And it doesn't. I just don't notice it. But when I focus on, because I know it's there, and I focus on looking at it, I notice it. But mostly times I don't remember about it and just use it. So that's really cool. Yeah, and on recent 2 Mighty Fridays, I did my yearly review just on the iPad, mainly on handwritten notes in the Good Notes app. Yeah, and I did it very quickly, and I love the process. So there's that, and I have other piece of accessories for iPad as well. So I have Smart-Folio like third-party case, and it's better than Apple's one because it's like this. So I will put also it as a podcast chapter art. So it has this holder for the Apple Pencil.
Okay.
So it's yeah, and when you put it inside the bag, you don't have to worry that Apple Pencil will fall off of the iPad. So that's really nice. And yeah, and as we talked in the recent episode, I have this moft case on the back of the iPad. Yeah, and it allows me to snap the iPad to my to the wall mount or other magnet, which is very handy in the desk setup. But also it's a stand with multiple angles for portrait and landscape mode. So so that's really cool. And yeah, I can still put this Smart-Folio like case on even with this glued to my back of the iPad.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little. It looks not perfect, but for the use case of putting iPad into the bag, it's good enough. Yeah. So one thing, the disadvantage of this Moft invisible tablet stand is it adds like about 23% of the weight to the iPad. So it's not so super comfortable to hold it in one hand, but still very good. Yeah, but it's not noticeable wide difference. However, on the other hand, this Smart-Folio like case, it's even 2 times more heavier. So it's 2 times heavier. So so it's actually in the like grand scheme of things, it's not big difference. All right, what else I have this noted here? Yes, this is my main machine, of course, for reading. That's kind of obvious scenario, but it really makes a difference because I finally caught up. Well, at least on December, I caught up on my reiterator list.
Wow.
Yeah. I use this service Mailbrew to collect all the sources like RSS channels, newsletters, and tweets, and so on. Yeah, and on December I managed to cut it up on Mighty Fridays. In January, not because I was doing yearly review, so. Yeah. But only because of that, and it really helps me to reduce the Twitter usage. Like maybe not reduce in the time spent on it, but now I only read Twitter once a day. Because yeah, I only have Twitter and actually Twitter and Instagram. I only consume it once a day on the iPad on my armchair back there. I have this nice setup. By the window, I have this Stradom IKEA armchair, very comfy, and there are many flowers there, so it's really nice climate. And after 3 p.m., I consume social media there on iPad Mini. Yeah, and Instagram app. Instagram doesn't have iPad app, but the iPhone version, it really, like, the iPad Mini is the best iPad for Instagram iPhone version app. Actually, it almost fits the whole screen.
Still,
yeah,
yeah, but this is like really outrageous that they're still not offering an iPad app.
Yeah, and
so
I have a clever shortcut on my iPad. So now when we have automations in shortcuts, I have this shortcut that when I launch Tweetbot or Instagram, it checks if it's after 3 p.m. or not. And if it's before 3 p.m., it just shows me the message, "Get back to work, lazy bastard," and opens priority view in Nozbe.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, and after 3 p.m. it lets me to open Instagram or Tweetbot. So this is the trick.
Can you share this shortcut with in the show notes?
Yeah, I will add it to the show notes. It's very simple. So
yeah, I know, but still, but there's also this trick how you open the priority in Nozbe as well. So
yeah,
it would be good. It would be very useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also for media consumption. Yeah.
I just don't want to build it. I just want to copy your shortcut, and that's it.
yeah, just that. Yeah, that's very convenient. Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of media consumption, it's also great for video consumption because its aspect ratio is 14:9. So it's the closest iPad can get to 16:9. Actually,
yes.
Yeah. So for video, it's great, and I don't use a YouTube app, just like you. But there is this Vinegar add-on to Safari that allows you to increase UX level of using YouTube website on iPad, because you can predefine which is the quality resolution of video that you prefer on iPad. Because many times on iPad, when you launch YouTube, you had to change quality because it somehow on auto settings it chooses 360p and so on. So it allows you to choose it and to play it in picture-in-picture mode. Okay, and speaking of video, there's FaceTime, of course, and Center Stage, but I already talked that I use it with my personal trainer, and it works great. Yeah, and editing the podcast on iPad Mini in Ferrite Recording Studio. I did it already for 3 episodes, I think, and it's awesome. However, I think that if we had guests on an episode or more tracks to be edited, that wouldn't be so convenient on iPad Mini as on the bigger iPad Pro. Okay, and one last thing is that there is this Jerry screen effect Okay, I will wait for Michael because I see we have some connection problems. Michael, are you with me? Hello, Michael. Can you hear me?
I have issues.
I see. But anyway, I saw that Michael had issues, so I just continue to talk because then I will put it together on on audio version of the episode. So that's it. And this part when we talk about figuring out those Michael's issue, I will just delete from the audio version, so there is no problem.
Rafal, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
And okay, so I think my 5G just gave up on me.
Yeah, maybe you're, but you have unlimited data, I guess.
Unlimited, maybe with a cap or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's it. So now you are connected from the iMac.
Yes, and so far so good, but let's not push it. So I think we should wrap up the episode.
Okay, so okay, one last thing I didn't mention is this Jerry scrolling effect on the screen. I did notice it right away, but I don't notice it anymore. Like when in daily use, when I really focus on noticing it, and okay, is there Jerry scrolling there? Let me see. Yeah, then I can see it, but on daily use, it's barely inconvenience.
All right.
Yeah, and also the 60 hertz screen, because I switched from iPad Pro, which was promotion.
Yes.
So yeah, for the first couple of days, I was noticing that it's not so smooth, and now I get used to it, and it's not a problem for me. Yeah, that's the advantage of being over 30 years old. So you can get used to stuff like that.
I'm sure you can. So for me, just a small update that today I'm going to publish, hopefully this episode, on my blog, michael.team, I'm going to publish the review of my Muffed, wallet. Speaking of Muffed.
Yeah.
And also just the whole history of me with the minimalist wallets. As I told you in the previous episode, that when I was importing my old blog posts from 2012, I realized 2012 was like a very important year for me because I started working standing and I started being iPad only. And it looks like in 2013, it was the moment I dropped a normal wallet and started being, minimalist wallet, iPhone wallet kind of guy. And it stuck until today. So
I remember we were both the fans of the Mujo case with a wallet for iPhone.
Yeah, I have the whole story there because I was using several different types of wallets. Like, so it started with the rubber bands of it was quirky crossover thing, and then later I was cutting out a wallet from the silicone cases. Then I had the Mujo. It was there was a whole journey there, and I'm gonna describe it on my blog. So at michael.team. So stay tuned. Yeah, but it's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing. Okay, so let's wrap it up. So thanks for listening. And what day is tomorrow, Michael?
It's Mighty Friday. It's a Friday, and we will be launching a new page for that to explain what Mighty Friday is and what a weekly review is and why you should do it on a Friday.
Yeah, so do your weekly review, plan priorities for next week, and spend the rest of the Friday on learning something new. Do have a great weekend. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to help support our podcast either by sharing it with a friend or leaving a nice review on Apple Podcast. Or the best thing you can do, check out our Nozbe.app. That's it for today. Say goodbye, Michael.
Take care, everyone, and let's celebrate the 15 years of Nozbe together next week. So stay tuned for our updates. Stay tuned for our Twitter at Nozbe or our Twitter handles, and we will be celebrating 15 years, and I hope you will be there with us. It's more than 1/3 of my life dedicated to Nozbe, so it's a big deal.
This episode has not been created in the office, because in Nozbe, there is no office. Your hosts were Michael Stevinsky and Rafał Sobolewski. All the links and show notes you can find on nooffice.fm/34. The whole production process of this episode has been coordinated in a project in Nozbe app. Control is good, but trust and transparency are so much better. Thank you and see you in 2 weeks. Remember to have a mighty Friday.
Don't cram 20 people on Zoom.
Fluorescent lighted office all day long. You probably are going to work from home.